Welcome to 5-Star Guns and Gear, and today we're going to be talking about what makes the 223 Wylde so wild. Alright guys, let's just go ahead and get into it. This is a Radical Firearms in 223 Wylde, and you know, there's a lot of people that are looking at firearms and they run across this and they are scared to buy one. And we're going to try to let you know today exactly what a 223 Wylde is, why it's not a bad option to purchase this, and probably put some minds to ease at explaining to what a 223 Wylde actually is. So I guess the first thing what we need to do is explain what a 223 Wylde is, so, and where it started and what the purpose of it is. So Bill Wylde, he's from Illinois. He's comparing two cartridges, and he decided he was going to change the chamber dimensions in this. And there's a reason why he did that. And that's how this particular chambering became named 223 Wylde, is because of Bill Wylde's last name. This was his little brainchild, and therefore named after him. So there is not such a thing as ammo for a 223 Wylde. So that's what a lot of people are scared about. They're afraid to get the 223 Wylde because they look on the shelves at their local sporting goods store or online and they cannot find 223 Wylde ammo, and you're not going to. And I'm going to explain that to you a little bit. And it's not a Wildcat round. It's not something you're going to have to neck down or do a custom modification to existing round. You're going to be able to shoot 223 and 5.56 out of this one right here. So, and you may say, well, I can already do that. And sometimes you can, but sometimes maybe you're not supposed to, and we'll explain that as well. But let's go ahead and talk about the chamber, since you know now at this point that 223 Wylde is not a round. It is a chamber. It's a name for a chamber, and you're going to be able to shoot 223 and 5.56. So if that's all you wanted to know, then I guess you don't have to stick around to the end of the video, and you got your information. But I highly encourage learning a little bit more about this mysterious 223 Wylde. And again, it is not what the ammo design is, it is the chamber design. So just keep that in mind. So this chamber is made with the external dimensions and lead angle found in the military 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO cartridge, and the 224-inch freebore diameter found in the civilian SAMI 223 Remington cartridge. So what he did, he took a little of both worlds and combined them to design this chamber. And the rifles with the 223 Wylde chamber will typically accept both 223 and the 5.56 45 NATO ammunition without any problems. So that's the benefit of having a 223 Wylde. Now, while the 223 Remington and the 5.56 by 45 NATO chambers have slightly different dimensions, the cartridges are identical in exterior dimension though, so keep that in mind. And that's why a lot of people think, hey, I can chamber either one of them on either platform and it's not an issue, but it is an issue. And I explained to you what it could, what the issue is, and the way this particular chambering solves that issue. So it's often confused. A lot of people think it doesn't matter, but it does. The chamber dimensions are really confused because they're so close. Since the chamber dimensions are different, the reason why they did that, the military wanted something that could deal with higher pressures for the 5.56 NATOs. So their chamber dimensions were totally made different to be able to accept a higher chamber pressure. Now your 223 is designed to work around 55,000 psi, where your 5.56, it's rated at 6,200 psi. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it may not damage your gun instantly, but over time it could have problems if you chamber the wrong one. So let's say you put a 223 in the 5.56, you're going to probably be fine and never have an issue. However, if you put a 5.56 round in a 223 chambering, with the chambering dimensions different, that 223 is designed for lower pressure. Although it may not ever have a catastrophic failure, it potentially could. So this is what Bill Wylde was looking at, was seeing what could be done to combine both worlds, and you're good to go. Now, you may say, well, mine says I can fire 5.56 or 223, and that may be the case in your particular rifle. But some chamberings are not like that, so you have to keep that in mind. So the 223 Wylde, it allows you use to both pressure levels safely. And that's the big thing, is safety here. While also increasing the accuracy, because it's got the free bore of which your 223 has. It's going to help you shoot a more accurate round. Your free bore is not going to be the same in the regular 5.56. So let's say you shoot a 5.56 and you're shooting 223 rounds and you're looking for accuracy, you're probably going to shoot a more accurate group and have better accuracy with a 223 chambering than a 5.56. However, you're not supposed to put the 5.56 in the 223, and you can find 5.56 all the time. Easy to find. A lot of surplus ammo out there for people to get a hold of. So how did Bill Wylde solve this problem? He said, well, what if we can make it where it could handle the same pressures, have the free bore slightly change, have the chamber dimension slightly change, where it can handle the higher pressures, but we get the accuracy of close to what a 223 chambering is going to be. So that's what he essentially did. He combined the two, and he came up with that magic solution that we now call 223 Wylde. Now you can fire your 223s or your 5.56, and when you're firing your 5.56 rounds in it, you're getting the benefit of firing through a chamber that's more accurate than that 5.56 chamber is going to be. So keep that in mind. So it does have its benefit. So it's a hybrid chamber. It's designed to exploit the accuracy advantages of the 223 in the chamber without the problems concerning overpressure or compromising the functionality, reliability of a semi-auto firearms like the AR-15 family when using the 5.56 NATO rounds. So it can shoot relatively long and heavy 80 grain bullets, commonly used in the sports rifle competitions very, very well. It's actually one of the preferred ones for that. And it's used by rifle manufacturers who sells national match configurations in AR-15s. So keep that in mind. I mean, that should tell you something right there. So this particular one, this upper, went ahead and put on here, and that's exactly why I bought this, is because I wanted to run various rounds through it, and I wanted to have a good chamber in it, and the 223 Wylde is a great chamber. A lot of people are scared to death of this because they don't understand it. And when you look at a gun and you hear 30-06, you go to the shelf and you get a 30-06. You go get a 300 PRC, you go get a 300 PRC. 30-30, you get a 30-30. 45 ACP, you get a 45 ACP. 223, you normally get a 223 or 5.56, and a lot of people don't understand the pressure differences in the two and what issues it can cause depending on your firearm. It may not be immediate, it may be down the road, and it may be never that you ever have a problem interchanging rounds like that, but it is not recommended. So this is your solution where you don't have to worry about it. Get you a 223 Wylde, shoot you your 5.56 and your 223s, and get that benefit of a chambering that's designed to squeeze a little bit more accuracy out of, let's say, your standard 5.56 rounds. And essentially, that's all you really need to know about the 223 Wylde. And again, you're not going to find 223 Wylde ammunition on a shelf. Or you are. You're going to find it called 223 and 5.56, guys. A lot of people does get worried about that because they see that, they don't ever ask about it, and they immediately assume that they're not going to be able to get ammo for this rifle that they want to purchase. You might have found a 223 Wylde in the exact configuration. Maybe this one has the M-LOK rails on these sides like this, and you have a 5.56 that's got the quad rail system, Picatinny rail system on it, but you'd rather have this one because you think you'd like it better. But that's the only two guns the gun shop has, but it's the 223 Wylde, and you're not going to be able to get ammo for it. Now let's put that myth to rest, or that perception. It's probably more of a perception than a myth, because if anybody knows about this, and a good gun store will know, the dealers there, they should be able to tell you that. If not, you need to be shopping somewhere else. So just want to go over today the 223 Wylde. What's so wild about it? What's wild about it? You can go ahead and shoot pretty much your 5.56 and your 223s, and it's pretty wild because you get a little bit of added accuracy out of it compared to your standard 5.56 chambering. So that's nice. You got the best of both worlds. It's a hybrid system, and it's designed, this is designed to take the 223s and 5.56 interchangeably without issue. It's going to handle both your high and low pressures just fine. So hope you learned something today, guys. Hope this helped you out. 5-Star Guns and Gears, we got a lot of reviews and stuff we do, but occasionally we like to do how-to videos, and we do like to do the occasional educational video, and I think this is real important because I've seen a lot of the 223 Wyldes pop up lately, and I know a lot of people that I spoke to that I've mentioned the 223 Wylde to, and they're like, yeah, I've seen that, but I'm afraid to buy it because I can't find ammo for it. Ammo's hard enough to find. And once I explain it to them, they're like, oh, I wished I would have known that. Of course, a little bit of research on the internet, you can find information about anything you want to, guys. But a lot of people don't research. They just pass it on by, chalk it up to a round that they don't want to have to deal with. They think, oh, I'm going to, and maybe it's somebody that reloads and says, you know what, I really don't want a 223 Wylde because I'm not going to be able to reload. I'm set up for 223s, or you know, that's the dies I've got. Well, you know what? You've got the right dies. You've got everything you need. You're not redoing your ammunition. It's just a chamber dimension modification that's a hybrid between the 5.56 and the 223. Guys, thank you for being with me today. Hope you learned something today. Hope you learned something about the 223 Wylde, why it's so wild. Guys, if you're subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification. That way you know when we're putting out new content. And as always, God bless, be safe, and I will catch you on the next episode.